Welcome to Dice Control Dojo. I'm Phil, and I practice every day and share my tips so we all can get better at the casino. Today we're talking about specifics on setting to throw. So on the other specific series that we've been doing, we've talked about how to consistently grip up your dice. You want to grip them and make sure they're consistent, that you're lined up properly. We've talked about how you have to do a smooth transition from, picking up the dice to throwing them. Today we're talking about balance and setting to throw. So this is something you have to work on so that we can do this quickly. And what does this look like? What is our balance? Is our body? How are our fingers? How are our arm? And what's the lineup look like? And then lastly, how to relax before you throw. So we're going to talk about each of these issues. So if you know, when we're talking about previous videos, and I suggest you look through on how I practice for the set, what I'm talking about for set, and I just realized when I was talking to a lot of these videos, it's hard for me to put the word set in there because dice sets are also different ways. Of the hard ways is a set, the V's are a set, and I'm not talking about that. I just made this term up that this is being set right before you throw. So that's what I'm talking about, is setting those dice up for success. So as always, I do the hard ways set. But when I'm doing this transition, what am I looking for here? Okay, so I have my fingers painted a little bit to make sure I have the same grip each time. But I also use that for when I convert. So when I convert over like this spot right here, I'm looking straight down on this dice. I'm looking straight down on it. When I'm looking straight down on the dice, I'm lining the front part of this with one of the lines on the craps table. But what I'm also looking for is making sure that my dice are aligned on my marks. So if I know that they're there, then I know underneath that these fingers should be all aligned. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm also looking to make sure my thumb is in the right position, which it is. And I'm also looking to make sure that my little mark there is saying that I picked up the dice the right way. So when I'm doing that conversion and I'm picking it up and it's a smooth transition, my first line of sight is my body is centered. I'm looking straight down over those dice. I have a circle created, and then my thumb is in the right spot, my fingers are in the right spot, and then that's when you have to relax. So you're relaxing your upper body, right? You're relaxing your wrists, and you're relaxing your thumb, because all the pressure, all the weight of those two dice are on your ledge, your three-fingered ledge. That's where all my weight is. So now I have to take that thumb and relax it enough. So that's why I practice a lot of being able to just barely hold on to them, and I let them go. And I practice that every day because you have to consistently see that pressure is very minimal. The more pressure you put with your thumb on that conversion, the worse your release is going to be, because it's going to be grippy. So you're going to make sure in a millisecond. That's why dedicated, deliberate practice on this is consistent. If you look at my fingers right now, they are perfectly aligned. right? They're perfectly aligned with what we're doing. So the more you practice this grip and rip, the better off at the casino you're going to be. So I convert over, instantly relaxing my thumb enough so that it's barely holding on to those dice. Do I have a consistent circle? Yes. Is it in the same spot, my thumb and my fingers? Yes. Do I have it enough so that I can release and it almost falls off? Yeah. I'm relaxing my upper body, and I have everything aligned with a line on the pass line bet, so that when I throw it, it's the same. Okay? So these conversions, these mini specific classes or discussions each and every day is getting into more and more and more of the details of how I throw each and every day and what my practice is. And I'm going to tell you, sometimes I'm up in the air and I forget that I like to put one little finger just touching gently onto the felt. And I'll tell you why I do that. When I'm throwing, a lot of times, and when I'm at a casino, sometimes my stress gets gets into me a little more than I want. And once again, another variable on live casino. So sometimes I'm nervous, right? It's a cold environment. I'm first throwing, and I get a little shakes. And I got to try and get those shakes out of me. So it's a lot of breathing. We'll talk about breathing and relaxing and making sure you're all set. But also, too, to get rid of those shakes, I just drop my finger. I drop this finger just touching the surface, and that keeps the shaking from going away. So it's a little trick I do. But if I'm not shaking, I don't always touch. I just get really close to it. But I want to make sure that when I'm practicing, make sure you plan for that, that sometimes those dice are, a consistently are sometimes makes me shake a little bit. And it's very precise, right? When you're playing craps, it's millimeters, it's milliseconds, it's everything coming together. So my practice in the morning should be consistent. You should also be making sure that you're aligned, looking straight down, your hips, your knees, your feet. Remember, making sure you're leaning evenly. You don't have one leaning or back leaning. You're consistent, and you're straight down over your dice. Now, if you have to lean way out here, you're leaning way over, just relax. Now it's still relaxed. I'm leaning way over here. I'm on my tippy toes, but I'm still just relaxing. Okay? I'm making sure my arm is relaxed. So this set has to be nailed each and every time you're throwing the dice, or everything gets screwed up. So with every specific thing I'm talking about today, talking about setting right before you throw, I seem to think everything I say is the most important thing on dice control. And you're not wrong, because I'm just dissecting this little energy that I'm doing, and I'm flowing through to making sure that I'm throwing the same way each time. That's going to cut down 20 or 30 other obstacles that you're going to have when you go to the casino. So it's important that you're set and you're ready to go, because tomorrow we're going to be talking about picking a spot. So now when you're practicing and you got your eyes down and it's right where you want it, now we got to talk tomorrow about where we're going to throw that dice and why it's important to pick a spot and why it's important to stay consistent with that spot. So join me tomorrow when we talk about the spot. In the meantime, make sure you know that there are hundreds and hundreds of videos out there on different strategies to bet, but my favorite strategy is to just throw for a long, long time.